What's going on? Back again. Right now I'll be sharing with you guys 4 tips on delt training, more on the isolation side. So I've spoken a lot about presses in the past, and I've spoken a lot about rear delts as well, but these are the 2021 updated methods on rear delt isolation and side delt. So coincidentally speaking, I haven't really spoken much about side delts on this channel, and the reason why is because I personally found it was a waste of time, but as time goes on, you realize that you want to put certain odds in your favor, and why not isolate your side delts? If you're trying to get the biggest delts possible, you'd be a fool to not do side delts, and I'm going to show you guys some new updated methods I've been learning about isolation for these areas. So I want to give a big shout out to John Meadows. I was watching his channel, he put me on to some of this stuff, and I'm really excited to show it with you guys. So I'm not making any of this stuff up. These are just things I took from certain people, certain things I learned from trial and error, and it's just what it is. So we're going to start off with the rear delts. First things first, let's talk about locking in the position. So you see certain people, for example, they'll do their rear delts and they'll bend over, you know, they'll use a lot of like erectors. We don't have to do that. We want to lock ourselves in the position. Yeah, sure, using erectors, but what does that have to do with the rear delts? We want to feel rear delts. We want to take our mind off everything else, and that's why it's important to lock yourself in. So you could get into like an incline bench. You want to make sure that nothing else is moving. If we're talking about growing a muscle bigger, you want to start going a bit more into bodybuilding territory. Yeah, it's true that certain sports, you can still take certain things from strongman competitors, from Olympic weightlifters, but generally speaking, a bulk of it has to do with bodybuilding. You know, tempo, pauses, all these different kind of parameters, rest periods, isolation. You have to start incorporating some of these principles if you're really trying to get a muscle a lot bigger. So we lock ourselves into the position. I'm really isolated. I have good heel reference on this bench. Chest supported, right? I'm locked in. And then from here, there's something called the resistance profile. So let's say, for example, if I'm doing a rear delt, if I'm doing a lateral raise with the dumbbells, you don't really feel much right here. I could do this with a lot of weight. The resistance really starts coming as I go higher. So every exercise has a resistance profile. So when it comes to the rear delts, I take that same example. I feel very little rear delt right here. I could do this all day long, not gonna feel much. If you watch some of my older videos, you'll notice I did the rear delt swing. There's a video of me doing like 140-pound dumbbells on rear delt swings, and I wasn't really getting that much out of it from a rear delt standpoint. So I'll show you guys how to maximize your time in the gym, how to get much more out of it. Super simple with the right cueing. So when I train my side and rear delts, I like to cue a fly away. I don't like to cue retraction like some people, because once you start retracting on your rear delt work, it puts more of the emphasis on the upper back without emphasizing the rear delts. So what I like to do is, as opposed to coming up like this where I'm retracting, I like to have the dumbbells as far away from me as possible with minimal retraction. So to make this a lot harder, since I mentioned that the range where the the resistance profile is maximized is around here, I want to spend more time, it's only logical, that I want to be here for most of the set. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to start with the dumbbells here because there's no tension right here. I'm going to start them like a little bit outside of shoulder width. And what I'm going to do to make this even more pronounced is I'm going to get a pause at the top for 1 to 3 seconds. So I'm going to do a quick couple reps. Supposed to just, you know, go into the full range of motion, just kind of sloppily. Start here. I'm going to get a pause. 1, 2, 3. Control down. I'm going to stop right here because that's where the tension kind of stops. 1, 2, 3. Trying my hardest not to retract in the upper back, just to keep the dumbbells as far away as possible. Nice pause. And I don't want to have a pause and then just drop down. I'm losing tension, so you want to look at tempo. So I could have like a 3-second pause, 1, 2, 3, 1 to 3 seconds, and 3-second eccentric, 1, 2, 3. No rest here. Come back up. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Come right back up. Right? So what you could do to make this set even longer. So I just made a video about mechanical drop sets for back training. You can check it out right here. You could also start applying that to your rear delts. So for example, if I could do as much as I can here, then eventually I'm gonna get tired out. Then your new endpoint could be here. You can just keep going until you're here, and it's super simple. So that's a very simplified way to train your rear delts that I like a lot personally, with the incline reverse fly. Now I know a lot of people are gonna be like, what about face pulls? Alpha Destiny loves face pulls. I actually like them as well, and I actually recommend them as well. That's probably my second favorite rear delt exercise. But the problem with that exercise, with the way I see people doing them, is they do them standing, use a ton of low back. We wanna get ourselves locked into the position as well. So if you look right here, as opposed to just kind of like standing up and just, let's say the band was a bit higher, and you just kind of like use a lot of erectors, let's lock ourselves into the position more. So a good way to lock ourselves in is to simply get into a half kneeling position. Put like a hat on, whatever, and you can also get more range of motion. So some people, for example, they stop right here. You could actually get more range of motion and more peak contraction of the rear delts by simply going to your forehead and back. So as opposed to stopping here, I could go here and then pull. If you look at the rear delts in the back view, as opposed to stopping here, I could go here and then pull. 1 to 3 second pause as I spread the band apart, like so. And you see, since my knee is above my hip, I'm in more of a stacked position. I'm less likely to hyperextend. Feel the rear delts very well. And if you're into bodybuilding, this also carries over very well to your back double bicep pose. It's actually pretty much the same thing. It's like you're just doing that banded face pull. So now we're gonna talk about the side delt. This is actually an exercise I got from John Meadows. And when it comes to delt training, or just training any muscle group in general, you wanna look at people who don't have the best genetics. What are they doing? I don't care about people who were super blessed in a certain area. I'm looking at people who weren't blessed in certain areas and they had to use other means because certain means weren't working. So John Meadows is a perfect example of this. This is where I got some of my rear delt advice from. And coincidentally, it's actually where I got from some of my side delt advice from as well. And I've never really trained side delts that much, but now I started doing it more and I feel like I'm getting a lot out of it. So I like the cuff laterals from John Meadows. So as you can see right here, the setup. You could use these with cables, but I personally don't have 2 cables, I just have 1. So you just take bands, one side of the bench here, one side of the bench there. Takes 2 seconds to set up. You get like some cuff straps here. You can lie it on the ground. It's like a cross grip, like this. Right? Come forward. I don't want to be flat, I want to get the knees above hips. Back flat against the ground, so I get a nice tuck. And then from here, I have no tension here, but I have tension right here. So I'm gonna start the movement here. And this takes the grip out of it. It's also good people who have like hand injuries, whatever. And I'm just gonna come up, I'm gonna fly away like I'm doing the rear delt. So like this. 5 seconds down. You wanna make it harder? Come more up, have more tension, like this. So as you can see, I'm trying not to retract, I'm trying to just reach laterally. So I get a nice 1 to 3 second hold here. I don't want my arms to be too close to me. I want to really get them wide, get it out, feel that lateral head, and then 5 seconds down. 5, 4, 3, 1. You want to spend as little time at the bottom as possible. So I'm not going to chill here. I'm just going to, once I get here, boom, come right back up. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then come back up. So I personally like these a lot. For the lateral head, I feel a great pump in them already. And you could also do like a mechanical drop set on these as well. So once you can't go super high anymore, just go a little lower and just do like 3 sets to failure. You know, take low rest periods, like 30 seconds, like delts are a small muscle. And within like 5-6 minutes, you already got done your 3 sets of lateral raises. A lot of people don't have access to bands. People have, for example, mini gyms. They only have access to like dumbbells and barbells. You can still make do with that. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's resistance profiles for every exercise. So if you do a lateral raise, for example, with dumbbells, not with cables or bands, you're most likely only gonna feel it once the weight starts coming a bit higher to around shoulder level. But you're not gonna feel it around once your hand is like perpendicular to the ground. So for example, if I'm doing a lateral raise, I don't feel much right here. So this is why you could do this. I'm pretty sure some bodybuilders do this as well. I think John Meadows, once again, shout out John Meadows, does this as well, where he would do a lighter weight, he would bring it higher, and then he would do a heavier weight, he would bring it lower. So for example, he would reach failure with this, go all the way down, but not all the way down, but here. He'd go where the tension is at with this dumbbell, and then once he reaches failure, boom, grab a heavier pair of dumbbells, way heavier, and just do the bottom half. That control the eccentric. So that way, the resistance profile is appropriate for whatever lift you're doing. You're maximizing the bottom, you're maximizing the top. You can even superset both of them together. So those are my 4 best tips as far as isolation work is concerned for the shoulders. This is just what's personally been working for me. This is what I analyzed, what I see has been working for certain bodybuilders, enhanced or not, and it should work for you guys too if you guys let me know in the comment section below. So like I mentioned in the video, there's a resistance profile for every lift. You always want to be where the tension is at. You always want to feel the muscle for a big duration of the exercise. You don't want to be doing a lift for 1 minute long, but you only feel the delts for like 20 seconds. You want to maximize that impact by being where the resistance is at. So let me know in the comment section below, do you personally do any of these isolation lifts I was talking about? Do you even isolate your shoulders at all? Which I personally believe you should. How is your delt training going? How are your delts developing lately? Let me know in the comment section below. Comment, subscribe, and see you guys next time.